Okay, so I'm going to tell you what a man considers to be a good wife. But just for fun, when a man says, I have a good wife, how would most men, the majority of men, describe a good wife? Okay, I'll let you go first. No. You're not going to get me to answer that. You answer it. We're waiting. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a little test to see if you're really fearful avoidant or not, because someone who has fearful avoidant attachment style, aka disorganized attachment style, will probably tell you, I don't know. I have no idea. And that's why I wanted to give you the chance to answer that question. And I think there's so much dysfunction out there right now that it could be a very difficult thing to answer. I think what makes the question difficult for a lot of people is because they're thinking of the kind of wife that they ideally want to be and the kind of wife that they would probably be. And then thirdly, what exactly is it that men say that they want in an ideal wife? It would probably be, in a nutshell, sexy. If they couldn't have anything else, sexy. And then there's the group of men that want to be catered to. She cooks for me. She fixes my plate for me. She's very domestic. And that could be controversial to some women who feel as though they are feminist. So it's kind of a difficult question to answer if you're honest, and especially for a fearful avoidant, because fearful avoidants are looking for a map to follow. At least I think women are. What is the map? What are we doing here? Can somebody please show me the way to go? Because I don't know. I have no idea. I need someone to tell me. If you can tell me, then I'll do that. I'll be that. Can I tell you something? It's okay to need a map to follow. It's okay to ask for a map to follow. That's something that I used to be humiliated and ashamed of, that I don't know how to be a good wife. I need someone to tell me. If you could tell me a couple of things, then I'll see if I can do that. It doesn't mean that you can't be yourself or that you shouldn't be yourself, but there are some areas of life that it is really aggravating for fearful avoidant to not know what to do. And a lot of times they feel ashamed to ask, like it's something that they should know, when if you look around, does anybody really know? What I want to do is define what a good wife is, so that you have something to follow. You at least have a template, and then you can embellish it, you can add to it, you can subtract, but at least you have something to follow, because that is the key to getting rid of and eradicating fearful avoidant attachment style altogether. Is just give a freaking map. The Instagram model, is that what men really want? And then you look at what makes a successful marriage, and you look at the people who are deep into their marriages, like 20, 25 years plus. And do you see the glam? Do you see sexiness? Is that the thing that stands out for you? Probably not. So even though men say, I want a sexy wife who does all the sexy things whenever I want, who looks beautiful and looks like an Instagram model, but does that work long term? Because what about personality? What about positive, good character traits? You can frame this question from a disorganized attachment point of view, which would be, I don't know, I need a map to follow. Or you can frame it as, what makes a good wife to a good man? That changes everything, right? And unfortunately, the way our society is built, a lot of times we look at men as though they are dogs, cheaters, jerks. And that is not fair either, because there are men who are the total opposite of that. So if you want to be a good wife, then add to that to a good man. Because I think if you add to that a jerk man, a cheating man, a an abusive man, all those stereotypical traits that men often get placed into, just like the seductive woman, it kind of gets all of the attention. But I think the way that we add clarity for a fearful avoidant is we say, what is a good wife to a good man? That changes everything, doesn't it? Because the purpose of studying attachment styles is so that you can have a secure attachment, so that you can learn how to have a healthy, balanced life. And I think ultimately that's what everyone wants. Let's keep it real. You want your man to think that you're pretty, that you're beautiful, that you're attractive. I think that's important to most women, even if they don't want to admit it. And I don't want to be fake or pretend like that's something that a man doesn't want or that you don't wish to be. Women want to be adored. They want a man to think that they're attractive and that they're pretty. So I think it's okay to do things to make yourself look prettier. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think sometimes when you get into a marriage, you might let that completely go, because who doesn't want to be comfy cozy all the time? I would say mix it up. Sometimes be a little bit more relaxed. Sometimes be really decent. And sometimes be over the top. Fearful avoidants tend to be interesting people. They don't trust themselves enough, or they can dip into insecurity real quick, but they actually have a lot of personality. Use that to your advantage, mix it up. But then there is a part of them that does like to be consistent. So they kind of like both. They like to be consistent, but they like to mix it up a little bit. I think that's okay. So I think number one, be aesthetically pleasing, at least sometimes. Mix it up. I think a good wife is number two, a person of peace that works through problems, works through conflict. And that does not mean that there is never conflict. You are two adults and you have two different ways of doing things, and you're trying to unify as one. So I think conflict is okay. And I don't think that conflicts means constant drama and upheaval and disarray and chaos and craziness. That would drive anybody absolutely bonkers. I don't think that's okay. But I think every now and then you are an imperfect human. And an imperfect human has the right to express their thoughts, their doubts, their fears, their frustrations, their irritabilities. You can do that in a mature way, I can let some things go. Like everything is not an argument. Everything is not a battle. You get to win this time. It's cool. Just being pleasant. You are listening to what he has to say. You are taking his thoughts into consideration. You bring up things that you think are important in a respectful manner, even if you disagree. Being a person of peace who brings calmness and happiness and peace to the household, it doesn't mean that you are a doormat and that he can do anything he wants. He can have girlfriends on the side. He can cheat, spend the whole day cleaning up, and he can just throw his clothes on the floor. You can joke and be feisty. You can say the same thing without being rude and disrespectful. You can bring in comedy. You can bring in sexiness. You can bring in sweetness. You can joke. Hey, I'll trade you a hot cup of tea if you pick those pants up off my floor. Okay. So yeah, I think a good wife knows how to be respectful and how to bring peace and happiness to the house. I think she's caring and loving. Women want to love. That's just how we're made. We want to be nurturing and let him know that we're caring for him. A lot of men like a cheerleader. Rah, rah, rah. Are you a good cheerleader? Bring out your pom-poms. What's wrong with being a cheerleader for someone or being a supporter or an advocate for someone's dreams? As long as he's not telling you, I'm going to climb 18 mountains in 2 minutes, as long as it's a realistic, practical dream that's doable, that's not going to make you have to live on the streets, then you can encourage him and say, hey, you can do it. Like, I believe in you. You got this. I know you can figure it out. You're so smart. You're intelligent. Build him up. Build him up. Why wouldn't you want to? This is your household. Why wouldn't you want to? You're going to benefit from making him feel good about himself. And it's just the great thing to do. Intimacy is also important to being a good wife. And if that is an area that you struggle with, then you're going to have to work through that. He's going to want you to want to be intimate. He's going to enjoy it a lot more if you are. So a lot of times men have higher libidos than women do. So you may have to get used to that. And then once you get used to it, it's not so bad. And I think it's important. I think it is important. I do not think, unless both people just aren't interested in any type of intimacy, but I think to not be intimate with your partner, male or female, I think is cruel. Someone that a man would say is a good wife is very open and interested and happily obliging as much as possible. Some women say a good wife is someone who has a high-paying job. I have 10 master's degrees and my doctorate. Most men don't give a flip about that. I'm just being honest. That's something that women want. They want a man who works. But a man, he may not care if you're a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife, or if you have a job that's a degree or you don't have a degree. If you have a degree, I'm sure he will be very proud of you, very pleased with you, very excited for you. If that's what you want to do, you want to work, but that's not going to move him. He is built to be the provider. And we're talking about a good husband, not one that wants to sit home while you go to work every day and he's playing video games all day. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying that doesn't drive him. That's not at the top of his list. Some people would say a sense of humor makes a good wife. Does he think you have to be a full-on comedian? No. Do all men want a woman who's funny? No. I think more women would say, I want a man who's funny. Some men want a woman that's funny. I think they definitely would enjoy someone whom they could laugh with. So I think that could be a good trait to have. Men want someone who is supportive. So a good wife often provides emotional and practical support, encouraging her man to pursue his goals and dreams. Communication. Open and honest communication is vital. A good wife is someone who can express her feelings and listen to her guy. And communication, that doesn't mean that you have to entertain him all the time. That doesn't mean that you have to say the perfect things all the time. It means that you can express your feelings. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling irritable. I'm feeling confused. I had a tough day today. But you also want to be positive sometimes. You don't want to just only everything is bad and everything. You definitely don't want to put him down and be like, you didn't take out the trash and you don't do this right and you're not affectionate enough and you never bring me flowers. You never cook for me. You never help me. I have too much to do and you don't help out and you don't meet my needs and you never say nice. You don't want to do that. You want positivity. In order to get what you want to be positive. Constant criticism, that's not how you want to communicate. It's okay to tell him your truths, though, sometimes. Like, you know what, would you mind giving me like 10 minutes? I feel really irritable and I don't want to take it out on you because you have been nothing but lovely. Communication, having conversations, talking about what you like, being using tact with the things that you don't like. A good wife is someone who is trustworthy because trust is foundational in a marriage. A good wife is reliable and honest, so she keeps her word, she follows through with what she says she's going to do, fostering a deep sense of security in the relationship. That's what men want in a good wife. Shared values. So, having similar values and beliefs can strengthen a partnership, including views on family, finances, and lifestyles. And if you're a Christian, then you want a Christian husband. That's an example of shared values. So you want to be compassionate and show empathy. You might think, oh, well, he's a dude, but he wants your feminine energy. That is what makes you attractive to him. Understanding and caring about each other's feelings and experiences is so important. Independence. A good wife often has her own interests, goals, and friendships, which can enrich the partnership. You might feel like sometimes, as a disorganized attachment style, you might have clingy moments where you just feel like, I just want to sit under you. I want to be near you. I want to cling to you. I want hugs. I want kisses. I just want to be with you. It is totally natural to have a strong desire to be around him, to be with him, to feel like you're all I need, honey. But going back to the push pull, sometimes we're clingy, sometimes we're avoidant. In order to kind of keep things balanced, you will be balanced, every now and then go do some volunteer work or go paint or go do something that interests you or go get a massage. Do some things separately so that you can miss each other a little bit, right? And you'll have something to talk about. And we talked about affection. Physical and emotional affection helps to maintain intimacy in the relationship. So I think, of course, there's going to be some differentiation between, what makes a good wife from man to man. Some men like it when you serve them dinner and fix their plate, and some men are like, I can fix my own plates. I can fold my own clothes. I don't want you touching my laundry. I can do that myself. And other men are like, baby, I love it when you do my laundry. It turns me on. What do you want? You want me to go buy you a car? Because you just I'm joking. But I mean, of course, there are going to be some differences, and every relationship is different. And you two get to decide what you want your relationship is. But I think it really boils down to, are you a good person? What constitutes being a good person, and be that. Everybody uses the example of you don't want to mistreat wait staff, for example, when you go to a restaurant. How do you treat the people? Are you courteous? Are you respectful? Or do you go into a grocery store? You don't have what I need, so I'm going to tear up the store. Be respectful and kind to people. Treat people like you want to be treated, with courtesy and respect. And it is okay to treat your husband with love and kindness and listening to what he wants. Doesn't mean that you're a doormat, but it's okay to cater to some of his needs and wants. It's part of the fun. So you tell me what you think a good wife is. And the reason why I wanted to define it is because if you are a fearful, avoidant attachment style, you want and need a map to follow, and rightfully so. They might not know what it is to be a good wife. So I just gave you a few things that you can use and start with. And that really solves a lot of the problem with disorganized attachment style, is just giving them some kind of roadmap to follow. If you're the man and you're with a disorganized woman, tell her a couple of things that she can do that you like, that you enjoy. Just lay it out there. Take the confusion off the table and just tell her what you want, what you like, what you need. And when you're courting or dating, then if that's something that you think you can do, then hey, you may have found your match. A good wife is a woman of integrity. How do you carry yourself? What are your values? What are your ethics? We see a lot on social media. People call them Instagram models. It's okay to be beautiful and pretty, but what else do you bring to the table? And there are some Instagram models who bring a lot to the table, I am sure, that are wonderful and amazing and people of integrity. So there's nothing wrong with being beautiful and attractive and pretty. That is okay. We don't want to hate on people who are attractive. That's okay. But what else do you bring to the table? And do you use that in salacious ways? Like, are you sexy for him or are you sexy for the whole world? How do you balance that? You see what I mean? So you want to carry yourself in a certain manner. And it doesn't mean that you have to be just perfectly poised. You can be silly and funny and goofy. You have morals and values. That's what he sees in a good wife because that's who he wants to raise his children. You don't want your kids going to school and people are like, oh my gosh, where are those kids coming from? Who's raising them? You want to raise them to show people respect. And are you that type of person? Well, then you probably would make a good wife. So if you're ever confused, just go back to kindness. Just go back there. And some people like assertiveness, and I like confrontation, and I don't want to be. You can be assertive and kind. Figure it out. Hold on to who you are and what you know is right. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be boring, even though you can be easygoing, laid back, calm, introverted. There is nothing wrong with that either. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you have somebody who is only putting you on a pedestal because of the way that you look and sexualizing you, or you're listening to certain songs, music, things on TV that show sexiness in a certain light that is degrading, and that's all he wants from you, that's not going to be the definition of a good wife. You might be his chick on the side, but when we think of good wife, that is not, we're not talking about what the world pressures you to be, especially if you know that that doesn't feel good in your soul. You want to be a good person, a good role model. And that doesn't mean that you can't have a lively, fun personality. That doesn't mean that you can't look pretty or dress nice or be very fashionable or be sexy for your husband. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying when you think of a good wife, you think of a wholesome, good person. Women are beautiful and wonderfully made, and they deserve to be treated with great respect. Respect, not degraded in any way. So do not play up to that. So as a good wife, you want to build him up. You want to edify him. You want to make him feel good about himself. You want to smile at him, even though some people say, I'm not a smiler. But even if you're not a smiler, you're bringing warmth to him. You're making him feel good about himself. You're making him feel proud of himself, or helping him to feel proud about himself. Why wouldn't you want to do that for the man of your house? That's important. And if you are still confused, I always like to go back to the Bible. So everyone loves to talk about the Proverbs 31 woman. I saw the word ruby one day and I thought, where have I seen ruby? Oh, it's in the description of the Proverbs 31 woman. So the Proverbs 31 woman is a radiant embodiment of virtue and grace, her worth surpassing even the finest jewels. With unwavering strength and diligent hands, she weaves love into every corner of her home, nurturing her family with tenderness and wisdom. Her heart is compassionate, reaching out to those in need and her spirit shines with resilience and faith. A devoted partner and loving mother, she inspires admiration and affection, making her an enchanting ideal of love and devotion. So, how can you show what a good person you are? You don't want to show that you're a jerk, do you? Like you're mean to people, you're disrespectful, you're cruel, you never want to help anyone, you don't have a kind word. That's not what a good wife is. The Proverbs 31 woman was virtuous and trustworthy. She was diligent and hardworking. She was wise and prudent. She was compassionate. She was resourceful. She was strong and resilient. And she was a supportive wife and a mother to her husband and a nurturing mother, ensuring the well-being of her family. She was God-fearing. Her faith is central to her life, and she is praised for her reverence to Jesus. So the Proverbs 31 woman is celebrated as an ideal figure representing a balance of strength, wisdom, compassion, and devotion to family and faith. So I think those are all great qualities. You can also ask yourself, what's something that you're good at, or what's something you enjoy doing? Bring that to the table. Are you good at making coffee? Are you good at sewing? Are you good at dancing? Are you good at making hairstyles? Are you good at whatever it could be? Bring that into the table to make yourself interesting, and it makes the relationship more fun. So I hope this helps someone out there today. That is the purpose and that is the goal. So if you are a fearful avoidant attachment style, now never say, I don't know what a good wife is. Define it by what a good man would want in you, because that's what we want. We want a healthy, happy, positive relationship. That's what we're going for. And if you struggle with love, so have I. And we all need support. And that's why I wrote Flip the Script on Love. Didn't realize it at the time that I was really trying to give myself a map to follow and some helpful tools. So that's what I try to do. And if it could help me, it could help you as well. And also, you don't want a narcissist as a husband. That is not what who we're trying to please. So you don't want to fall into that trap. So check out my book, The Workplace NaRCISSiST, about a very elite type of narcissist, because you want to avoid those at all costs. So when you're building up a narcissist, that might not be such a good idea. You need to run. And then if you are confused about people, check out my book From ENFJ with Love, where I describe all 16 Myers-Briggs personality types, and it will help you get a handle on people and why they act certain way. Some people are warm and fuzzy. Some people are very direct. Some people are very assertive. Some people are guardian-like, and they want to look out for you and help you. What kind of man are you getting? What kind of a wife are you getting? The 16 Myers-Briggs types will help you a lot in that area too. So what I'm going to do is I'll put the link in the description box for you guys. I love you. Send this video to people that it will help, like your family and your friends. Like the video, subscribe. Let me know your honest opinion of what you think a good wife is in the comments. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.